Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris here, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on Ballerina from the World of John Wick. It's got a really kind of cumbersome title, and I'm just going to call it Ballerina. So, if you're unfamiliar with what this is in fact a spin-off movie from the John Wick series. And I think, based on and I've seen all the John Wick movies, many of them several times, but from what I recall, this is sort of set between chapters 3 and 4, I think, and it actually does make direct allusions to one of the John Wick movies by splicing in some scenes from that to kind of set the stage a little bit for sort of the context of what's happening here. But this movie, I've got the information in front of me. This movie stars Ana de Armas. It's directed by Len Wiseman. It does again have Keanu Reeves in it, and he does more than simply sort of reenact some of the scenes from an earlier John Wick movie. He does have a decently large role in this, especially toward the conclusion. I don't want to spoil anything, but basically, just to read for you from IMDb, the plot synopsis here: an assassin trained in the traditions of the Ruska Roma organization sets out to seek revenge after her father's death. So it is a very straightforward plot. I mean, it's a revenge story more than anything else, which that's what John Wick started out as, right? Revenge for his puppy being killed and him being sort of roped back into the world of assassins and all of that kind of stuff, the Continental. But I will say, this does a really good job, I think, of expanding the lore of the John Wick universe a little bit more. We're introduced to this cult of assassins who have sort of an X scar on their wrist. They don't follow any rules. They're sort of frowned upon by the rest of the assassin world, who sees themselves being bound to this whole rules and consequences thing. You know, if you think back to the John Wick films, the sort of mantra that Winston has there, that the rules separate us from the animals or whatever. So there's this cult that is somewhere in Eastern Europe, I believe, is where they end up setting that part of the film. Again, not getting too spoilery here, but there's this cult that kills Ana de Armas. Her name is Eve in the movie, her father, and then as she grows up and goes through her assassin training, she then sort of ventures out on her own to get revenge against the order of the director, who, once again, is played by Angelica Huston, or Houston, not sure the pronunciation there, who, again, is in the other John Wick movies. But again, you've got Ian McShane, who plays Winston. You've got a lot of the same actors here that you see in the other films. And so what I will say is, if you're going into this movie looking for action, right, if that's what you enjoy about the John Wick movies, which for me personally, I like the world building, the assassin world building, and the action sequences, primarily the action sequences, you're not going to be disappointed. I mean, this really is kind of a briskly paced movie that carries you from one really nicely staged action set piece to another. And without spoiling it, what I will say is some of my favorite ones were, there's one set in this cafe, kind of a two-story cafe shop, that plays out over sort of a long duration, and it's just great. I mean, the way they frame things, the way the action is set up, there are a lot of blade weapons involved, that kind of stuff. It's just great the way that whole thing plays out. There's an early sequence in a club. I think it's called -11 or something like that. It's an ice, themed club, and it's where Ana de Armas' character has her first big contract, her first mission, and it's really cool how that plays out. You kind of see her getting a feel for how she conducts herself in the middle of these missions that she's sent out on. But just everything about it works well. Oh yeah, I almost forgot the flamethrower battle. Toward the end of the movie, there is a flamethrower battle sequence, and it is just awesome. I mean, in watching it, I was sort of in awe, and I think one of the things I was thinking about is, how did they work through the safety protocols to actually make this a thing? But from an action perspective, it's really great. I don't know that it really lives up to the standard of something like John Wick 4, which, that's a longer film. And I went and saw this with my wife, and she said she did appreciate how much shorter of a movie this is than some of the other John Wick movies. But I think John Wick 4 for me is kind of the bar for the action sequences. I mean, 3's got a lot of really good ones as well. But this is a very solid entry that slots in nicely into the John Wick universe, and I really enjoyed it. Ultimately the question is, do you need to see it in a theater? I think if you like the John Wick movies and really just want some solid action type of stuff, like, sure, it's great. And I think Ana de Armas does a good job of carrying herself as an action heroine. I mean, after watching it, I was thinking, like, okay, this is, kind of on par with, like, Beatrix Kiddo or Ellen Ripley, sort of the really awesome female action stars that you want to see. I mean, she sort of created that here, and they do leave it kind of open for maybe continued development of this character. So I really enjoyed it a lot. If you're not really a big fan of John Wick, you like the movies, but you're not like just dying to see it, I think you can't wait for streaming to check it out. But I think it is a very good movie action-wise. So I very much enjoyed it. I do plan on picking up digitally whenever it does come out. But if you've seen the movie, let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, thanks so much for watching.